Hi everyone, I believe you can all hear me and see me now. Hope everyone is having a good day. I've definitely jumped into a couple of sessions and learned so much from Web3 to confidence building to all of those things. Thank you to Charlene and the team for putting this on. It's just so amazing to see so many mostly Black women speakers talking about tech and showcasing our domain expertise. It's really, really fascinating, and I'm super proud to be a speaker today. Awesome. We don't have that much time, so I'm getting straight into it. Welcome to my session focused on using technology to foster good financial habits. This talk is about exactly as it says, personal finance talks. That's something I've been doing for a while and are always becoming increasingly popular. But many people distill them to meal prepping and not spending so much on avocado toast and all those kind of silly things. But actually, I'm here to convince you all that actually using technology to help you build good financial habits is really easy. And there are many tools out there that can help you do that. And in reality, it's about building habits that help us better manage our relationship with money, and technology can help us do that. And this is all technology built with behavioral economics in mind. So why not use these tools to help you build good financial habits if you don't have them already, or improve what you have today as well. So yeah, I'm going to run through a couple of trends that are related to fintech and how we can use it to propel our financial literacy and develop good habits. I'm going to talk through 4 key trends and give some examples and websites. So please grab a pen and a paper if you don't have one, or whatever tool you're using to take notes. And I'm going to hope that we have at least time for 5-10 minutes of Q&A at the end as well. Okay, so I've been talking for a couple of minutes, but not actually introduced myself. My name is Mary Agbesanwa. You can find me on Instagram at Millennial Mary A, or I'm also on LinkedIn as well. My most recent role was as the business development director within the wealth management division at Lloyds Banking Group. But my career is essentially focused on wealth management, wealth tech, fintech, essentially how technology can be used to drive good financial habits for individuals or businesses that can enable individuals to build good financial habits. So I've worked at startups, I've worked originally in consultancy, and I'm also currently taking my exams to become a fully fledged financial advisor, because I want to bring everything together, the technology side and the domain knowledge, to help people use technology to help them gain a better personal finance experience. Outside of, I guess, my main focus areas, I'm also a lecturer part-time at used to be Imperial College Business School, but now Wharton Business School virtually, which is a business school, a leading business school in the US, where I teach on personal branding, executive presence, and soon to focus on AI as well, which is really exciting. I'm also the founder of the Now You're Talking Network, which you might have heard of, which is a community and business focused on helping women earn more and be more confident. Do check us out at NYT Network on Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn and X as well. And we talk a lot about helping women earn more and be more confident through personal development, but also through entrepreneurship. So I love talking about side hustles. Multiple income streams is something that I followed throughout my career, and love sharing tips around that with other women as well. And lastly, I'm a board trustee on a social enterprise, Do It Now, that some of you might know, that funds, basically it's all about Black economic empowerment. So we give out grants to individuals and companies that need support from the Black community. And I also sit on the board of Girl Guiding. So if you're like me, you were a guide and a brownie growing up. I'm really passionate about what Girl Guiding can do to instill confidence in young women, or young girls, should I say. So do check out those organizations that are really dear to me in my heart as well. But I say all of this to say, I'm not yet a certified financial advisor. I'm just going to be sharing tips and tools and technology that you can use when you're thinking about building better financial habits. And my personal experience with money has really been from being at university, having 3 part-time jobs and spending all my money going out and buying nice clothes, and definitely having a bit of guilty pleasure for retail therapy to using technology to help me build better financial habits, to educate myself to the point now where I'm constantly maximizing my ISA allowance. I'm thinking about tax efficient investments. And I find investing fun, which I think for women is a big part of the hurdle. It's about recognizing there's just a lot of fear around investing and talking about money and personal finance, which I think we should really try and demystify. I'm constantly doing this with family members, my parents, and everyone else as well, because that doesn't help anyone. Just as we want salary transparency, we should also aim to have transparency around finances as well. I'll get off my soapbox around that. Okay, I'm not looking at the chat, by the way, but please comment in the chat if you have reflections and questions. I'll take at the end, just so I can get through all of the content. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the introduction of my talk, which is how did fintech come about? Some of you might work in fintech, some of you might be a bit more new to the term, but I like to use this very simple equation, which is around falling trust plus better technology is how fintech came about. So essentially, when we talk about falling trust, this is linked back to the 2008 financial crisis, which was characterized by bank deregulation and banks having this appetite for subprime mortgages. And ultimately, long story short, the TLDR is that consumers lost trust in bankers, in banking, and the wider financial sector. And they realized that financial services actually hadn't been serving anyone at all, and that banks had been taking advantage of consumers' lack of financial knowledge, and kind of were complacent in convincing people to take up financial products and services that may not be that great for them. Alongside this, we have better technology. So I'm talking about the improvement in technology as a whole, the fact that we had the rise of the iPhone, supported the rise of fintech. So financial technology is literally what it says. It's how specific solutions can you solve specific problems within financial services. If you take a product that existed 10 years ago, 20 years ago, how would you recreate it using the best technology available today? So both of these components, the falling trust and the better technology, has allowed fintech to rise. And I really want to emphasize for all of you listening today that this is really a saving grace for the Black population, because it's largely democratized access to financial services and financial knowledge. So before, you might not get a business loan because you're going to have to go in person, you're going to have to pitch, and they might not understand the need for your business. And therefore, as a Black person, you might have been disadvantaged, or as a woman, you might not have been able to take out a loan, things like that. But now technology means a lot of these things can happen from our smartphones. They can happen in a more democratized way. And that's why I love it. And that's why I'm really passionate about technology coming into this space and making it fairer and easier for us all. So I wanted to also lay the land of, or just explain the landscape of fintech. So now we understand what fintech is, I wanted to discuss some key stats that really showcases why you should take fintech seriously. And hopefully some of you will be convinced to come and work in the industry as well. And all of this data is from widely available reports. I'll just call out a couple of the stats, but I think they're all really powerful. Firstly, you can see 95.6 billion is how much dollars USD were invested globally in fintech in 2024. Actually, that number is constantly rising. Sometimes it falls because of wider things happening around the globe and things like that. But there's a lot of money going into fintech. Links to that, fintech is a really important strategic area for the UK. I know there's some US listeners, but just talking about the UK, the UK has the second position globally in terms of fintech investment. And number one is the US, number three is India. So 10%, as you can see from that slide, the percentage of fintechs globally based in the UK are 10%, and they contribute £11 billion in revenue. So there's a lot of fintechs that we might be interested in working in, and just seeing how important they are to the UK GDP is very interesting. They contribute 12% to all of the UK's taxes, which is insane. Just think about other stats to call out. I like this one that says 72% rise in usage of fintech apps across Europe since the beginning of the pandemic. So pandemic, COVID-19 feels like ages ago, but that really expedited a lot of the things that we see when we talk about fintech. think about the adoption of contactless and things like that as well. I personally can't even remember the last time I dealt with cash or held cash. I don't even know if I could draw what it looks like. And that is just showcasing to you how quickly the landscape is changing from online shopping to mobile banking, etc. as well, and what this is doing to consumer preferences for kind of digital experiences, digital flows, etc. as well. So why should you care? Maybe you've heard me speak for about 5 minutes now and you're like, okay, I understand these things. Maybe I'm interested in a career in fintech, but what does this really mean for me? And I want you to think about this question as I'm sharing the key trends that I'm about to go into. And that is, how can you use this technology to your advantage in order to develop good personal finance habits? And that's exactly it. It's all about you. It's about your goals that you have related to your personal finance, not anyone else's. There's no one size fits all when it comes to personal finance or advice. And it should be about what you need to support you to be more committed to gaining good personal finance habits as well. Okay, so let me go into the trends. The first trend I wanted to talk about is open banking. So many of you might know what this means, but in case you don't, it's the secure way to give providers access to your financial information. So open banking is actually a government-backed initiative that puts you as a customer in control of your financial data. And so therefore it gives you visibility so that you can manage where your financial information is, you can digest it. And the benefits of this visibility is that you can start to understand and make decisions off the back of it. So you can have a clear view of your accounts in one place. You can monitor your various transactions. You might be able to also spot fraud more easily. And actually it helps us break down that fear of just like going into our bank account and making deductions from it as well. So I really would recommend people to use open banking tools if they are sometimes afraid of looking at their statements and they just want the statements to come alive. And this can really help you when it comes to setting and sticking to financial goals. So it makes budgeting easier because you can start to infer how much am I spending on a monthly basis, how much could I be saving, etc. as well. And there are many tools like the examples I have on the slide that can be used thanks to open banking to help you budget, to find good deals, and to shop for products and services that suit you as well. So it's really good to check out these tools that can help you when it comes to visibility of your finances. So we have Clio. This is a fintech that used to be in the UK, but is now only in the US. So for our US listeners, definitely check out Clio as an open banking tool that essentially is a digital assistant that gives you tips and advice on your finances. And it kind of speaks to you in a conversational way and it has like a roast feature and these kind of things. Kind of a fun way to think about interacting with your finances once you plug in and give it access to your financial data. We also have Emma, which is a UK-based tool. When we're thinking about transparency of on information and our data, you can use open banking to plug in your credit card information, your current accounts, your credit accounts, savings accounts, investments, pensions, and have it all in one place to give you that detailed picture of where you stand financially. Again, you're not giving these platforms access to those assets, you're just giving them access to the information that allows you to see all of those things so you can manage it centrally in one place. If you're anything like me, I always open so many different fintech banking apps just to try them out, to play around with them, to test them. And using tools like this means that I can have them all in one place and just understand my financial portfolio. And then Plum is another effective tool for saving, for investing, and also understanding where your money is as well. So that was the first trend that I wanted to talk about, open banking. The next trend I wanted to talk about that can help you build good financial habits is automation. So automation is the technology or the process that enables a process or a procedure to be performed with minimal human assistance. So why I think automation is really good is that it helps us with ease. And for those of you that might struggle with the diligence of building a saving habit, automation is the best way. So I know for myself, like as soon as I get paid a salary or I get paid from a speaking gig or consulting opportunity, I like to pay myself first, obviously after the tax man has taken what they need to. And then I like to use a direct debit or something to automate it into a savings account, high interest rate savings account, for example. So that's just an example of using automation to build discipline for yourself. And it's really important, again, because sometimes people see personal finance as something really overwhelming. It's like, I want to wait till I've got this much saved and then I'm going to transfer and start investing. Actually, if you can just start to do it with a small portion of your paycheck every month, that can be really powerful. So you can see the examples I have on the slide. You can use a platform like Chip and Moneybox that allow you to do automatic savings. I believe they both still do roundups. So let's say you buy a £4.50 matcha in London, probably more like £6.50 these days. That extra 50p to round it up to £7, you could put into a savings pot, or you can even invest that. And again, setting up something like that is automating your saving and your investing. There's things like the 1p challenge, where you on January 1st, you save 1p, on January 2nd, you save 2p, etc., etc., etc. And automating and using tools like this can be really good for those of us that struggle maybe a little bit with the discipline of saving and investing. And I think it's really important to reflect on how you can use technology to help you do that. And these apps could be worth you checking out if that's something you struggled with it in the past. I love mentioning IFT. So this one here, if this, then that, which allows you to personalize how you manage your money. You can create your own rules. So you can connect your Monzo account to IFT actually, and you can say, okay, every day that I walk 10,000 steps, invest £1 into this savings pot. You can start to make it fun. You can start to make it interactive. You can also say like, you can connect it to, like, if I shop at Starbucks, make sure I save £10, just to start to build some fun around it and to really start to automate the way that you're saving or investing as well. Again, worth looking at if that's something that you struggle with or want to improve on. The next trend that I wanted to touch on is personalization. So this refers to how companies benefit from immediately resonating with their target customers and designing a curated financial services experience with a specific customer in mind. And ultimately, why this matters is because historically, mainstream financial services has not adequately served Black people, and even more so, or not even more so, but equally women as well. So I'm really excited to see more tools that are tailored to specific communities. As you can see on the slide, I've given the examples of Go Henry, which focuses on kids and really helping kids build good financial habits, and lots of interesting reports and gamification, and Wealth8, which is a platform focused on the Black community, and has Africa-focused funds, etc. as well. So again, if you don't know about these tools, this is something that we should be using technology to be aware of, to download these apps, to play around with them. It's crazy for me to think about how financial services has so much more to do in this space. It wasn't till 1974 where women in the UK were allowed to obtain a mortgage without a male co-signer. So there's so much more that needs to be done in the industry in terms of supporting specific customers, and that is really important as well. So definitely check out these tools. There's more that support with investing for specific communities as well. So that's really important as well. And then my last trend that I wanted to talk about is the internet, which sounds super obvious, but I think is really important. And I want to encourage everyone who's listening right now on the main stage at Coding Black Females Fest to make sure you're dedicating time to explore the internet, maybe using ChatGPT to help you, or AI to help you, and explore the wide range of resources, including podcasts and newsletters and blogs that can help educate you about personal finance. It's not an excuse anymore. It's 2025. We should be dedicating time to think about our finances and ultimately start to remove that stigma about talking about money. So again, on the slide, I have some examples of Vestpod, who run kind of personal finance courses for women, Your Juno, which is a platform for kind of like they call themselves the Duolingo of finance. So gamified, fun games related to finances. Again, super interesting. Currently free, might not always be free, so definitely download it and check it out. And then Female Invest, a platform with loads of resources related to personal finance and also career development as well. You'll catch myself in some of the videos on Female Invest. And ultimately, I really want us to stop having such an emotional reaction to thinking about personal finances. How do we just bite the bullet and start learning and educating ourselves? And maybe can you set up, is it just half an hour a week or half an hour every 2 weeks to think about your spending, think about your personal finance journey, and really commit to spending the time to do that? Okay, I was speaking so quickly and I did manage to get through all the slides. So hopefully that was really interesting for all of you, kind of whistle-stop tour into how technology can be used to help you build good financial habits. Happy to go into questions or reflections. And on the slide, you can see an article that I've written on 8 mental shifts about money we need to make as millennials. Anyone can read it. And hopefully it will provide even more flavor to some of the things that I mentioned today. But ultimately, let me get rid of this. Ultimately, I really want you to take away from today that there's technology out there that can help you. I'm not saying that you need to download every single fintech app that you see on the tube, but actually it's about thinking about what are the things that I struggle with when it comes to my personal finances, and how can I make sure that I use the tools and the technology and the education out there to help me start to improve and hopefully maybe be even better than how your parents dealt with money, or address some of the bad habits you might have in relation to finances as well. Okay, let's look at the chats. Any questions or reflections or bits people want me to go over?
Just so that everybody knows, there's also a Q&A section where you can ask your questions as well. So feel free to pop your questions in there.
Awesome, thanks everyone. And also, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. I just wanted to give you all examples of tools and apps that you can check out. There's so many more. I just wanted to give you examples of those particular trends as well.
So what's your favorite app out of all the ones that you suggested? A few there that were looking cool.
Yeah, what is my favorite? I do like so related to like the open banking piece, I do like Money Hub as well. I use Moneybox for the roundup feature, and I also use one of their ISA products, but I do like Money Hub, which is open finance, or uses open banking, which the next step of that will be open finance, so plugging in things like pensions and stuff like that as well. And I like I said, I have so many different bank accounts. I have so many different investment products. Having it all in one place is so super helpful, because then on a monthly basis, when I do my financial audit, I can start to see, okay, my Amex is here, my main bank account is here. This is offering this interest rate. This is offering that interest rate. This is how I should move it around. And that visibility in one place can be super helpful.
Awesome, thank you. Oh, we've got a couple of questions that have come up. From Vuyo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, sorry if I'm not. With the rise of AI, how have you seen it transform personal finance?
Great question. Thank you, Vuyo, for your question. I think we're just at the beginning of how AI will impact personal finance. A lot of the automation tools that I mentioned use some form of AI. So that's really exciting, but I think there's so much more, particularly, you know, I'm in the wealth tech, in the investing space. I think there's so much more that's going to happen in terms of how do we help people automate their investing, but also using generative AI to give people low cost financial advice is an interesting thing that many companies I'm working with are exploring, because currently only 9% of adults in the UK get financial advice. even anecdotally, when I speak to my network, I know that many more people than that want financial advice. So how can we use AI as a way to democratize access to giving financial advice, or financial guidance is sometimes what we call that as well. So watch this space, connect with me. I'll be sharing blog posts and insights on things like that, but definitely going to be disrupted, because ultimately currently in the UK, financial advice is way too expensive and mostly for the elite, and we need to democratize that.
Thank you. And from Sarah, we have a question: what is the best way to create wealth, do you think?
Oh, Sarah, if I knew this, I would be in the Bahamas right now. There is no silver bullet. Hopefully my talk has helped explain that to us all, which is that it's down to a number of things. And that's, again, why I'm becoming a financial advisor. It's down to a number of things, but it's also down to your values and your preferences. I can tell you ways to become a millionaire tomorrow, but would you want to take those risks, or would you want to position your life in that way? So it's more about thinking about, what do I want out of life? What are my goals? What do I want to do in the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years? And how can I set up my finances and also my employability to make that happen as well? So a bit of a cop-out answer, but I think it's really about taking that time to reflect and think about your values, what interests you, and then using that to kind of plan and think about how you want to manage your life and set up for success going forward.
Awesome, thank you. And then related to the question that I asked, it's almost it's a kind of a follow-on from this. With those financial apps that you mentioned, are they safe, and is your data safe with these starter banks like Moneybox, etc.?
Thank you so much for asking this question, Sarah. So a couple of tips for UK-based people. If you're going to download a financial app, make sure that they have FSCS protection. So if you go onto their website, scroll all the way down, make sure that your money is covered by FSCS, which means that if you have up to 85K in that bank account or that investment account, then the government will give you that money back if that financial institution goes bankrupt, essentially. So that's one thing. But also do your due diligence, read websites about how people are finding those apps, Trustpilot, etc. But also just, I think the FSCS protection is really key. I think that if you're not using that app, typically with open banking and permission for them to use your financial data, you have to give your consent every 90 days anyway. So if you use an app, you don't like it, disconnect, or it will time out after the 90 days anyway. So make sure you do your research. I think the key thing is the FCA number. So every financial institution should have an FCA number and also that FSCS protection. And boringly, go into their T's and C's and just make sure you're reading that before you commit. Because again, financial data is very important. I heard one of the speakers talk about the importance of data earlier today. Super important. So don't just sign up to any app without doing a bit of research.
Awesome. I think we are actually at time. There's one more question, but we're at time and we probably should move on. But thank you so much for that. It was a really amazing talk. I hope you can stick around, and I'm sure people will kind of, again, I keep on saying the word corner, but that's not what I mean. They'll approach you in the lounges to ask you further questions. But yeah, it was a really great session. Thank you so much for that. And please stick around for the next session.
No worries.
Okay.